Hi, everyone. I am so pleased today to be talking to one of Napa Valley's most amazing vintners and ambassadors, and an old friend for me, Jean-Charles Boisset. And Jean-Charles, thank you so much for your support of Come Over October. I know lots of people love to come over to Raymond, where you are, or any number of your other wineries, and it is October. So thanks for coming over and doing an interview with me.
Well, Karen, it is always an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be together. And indeed, I'm in the red room. I knew you would wear beautiful red lipsticks, and your gorgeous red hair
Here we go.
always conduct the most velvety, spicy, and silky red, hence a red room.
There you go. All right. So I want to start out, Jean-Charles, with a question that I was thinking about this morning when I was beginning to imagine some of the questions I wanted to ask you. And it's never occurred to me to ask this before, but of course, you were born in Burgundy. Your parents were prominent in the Burgundian wine industry and later in other parts of France too. I mean, it's like every wine lover's dream to be born in Burgundy. So why didn't you stay in Burgundy?
Well,
Really?
Burgundy is never enough. It's a beautiful place. It's a phenomenal, obviously, dream to be born there. I was born at the foot of the Clos Vougeot. My backyard was really the fantastic Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, Clos Volant de Vougeot, wines of the monks from literally the 11th century, all the way to the best Grand Cru and the most spectacular landscape, Musigny, Romanée Saint-Vivant, Échezeaux, Charmes-Chambertin, Clos Vougeot. But as much as I love that region of Burgundy, there's always more to discover. If I would have born in the 15th century, I would have been an explorer. If I had been born even much earlier, I would have wanted to discover a lot of the nations and the continents that the world has to offer. So I really believe when you're born in the essence of Chardonnay and Pinot, you want to see other things. And California has always been a dream, and certainly America. Therefore, I was attracted, I was tempted, I was magnetized. Therefore, the bridge of both is the best of all. Therefore, on one side of my heart is America, on the other is France. On one side is Napa Sonoma, on the other side is Burgundy.
Mm. So thinking about that and thinking about the idea of exploring and going to new places, is there something that you brought with you? Did Burgundy teach you something that you have now applied in California?
Absolutely. I think in Burgundy, you very much attracted to your best friend, which is Mother Nature. Your
Mm.
best friend as Mother Nature is the person you play with since you can barely walk on 2 feet, but on four. So you touch the soil, you get in touch with the roots, you get in touch with what the Indians and the Native Americans used to say, take off your shoes and caress the skin of Mother Nature. So what I took with me is really the rootstock, the sense of culture, the sense of energy from the earth, that magnetic force of the telluric power merged with the cosmic energy coming from above. So this sense of Mother Nature is everything, that the wine is actually made in the vineyards. Therefore, as I came here, first in Sonoma and then in Napa, we applied all the motherhood techniques that I believed in, which is organic farming,
Mm.
which is biodynamic farming, using the rhythm of Mother Nature to farm and to conduct on a monthly basis what needs to be applied to Mother Nature and the preparation of what Mother Nature is all about and treating Mother Nature with Mother Nature.
Mm.
Therefore, I feel the most compelling attribute that I could have brought to California is really listening to Mother Nature, using Mother Nature as our best friend and working in symbiotic relationship with her, not fighting against her, but on the opposite, using her strength to really maximize what she has to offer to all of us. So all those principles at the Lodge Vineyards, Theater of Nature, one of the leading organic and biodynamic estates for Chardonnay and Pinot, And obviously, Raymond Vineyards, where I'm right now, with a theater of nature, 2 acres dedicated to the education of what farming is about in an organic way. And of course, making wine as well in an organic and biodynamic way. So, really, more importantly, listening, trying to take what Mother Nature has to give you and bring it to the supreme level of winemaking and the conversion of obviously this gift into the glass without
Yes.
using any exogenous creation, but working from within.
Well, listening, I suppose, is really the right word. And I know that your wineries have been very committed to biodynamics from your stewardship on, from the beginning of they're all historic wineries that you then took over um, and began practicing biodynamics. I wonder where, and listening to you talk about Mother Nature is so inspiring. I wonder where your own personal passion for wine comes from.
Well, first was really the vineyards and the culture of the grapes. And then, of course, as you collect those beautiful grapes, their transformation. So, very early on, I made wine in a barrel. My parents cut half a barrel. I was literally 3.5, 4 years old. I have pictures to prove it, very similar to I Love Lucy. And I made wine literally with natural pigeage, with my little legs moving in and
That's
out.
a
And
photo.
yeah, very cute. And then continued to do so. And you taste it as a fruit juice. And then obviously, as the sugar converts into alcohol, as a wine. And I think you are obsessed with the idea of this transformation, very
Mm.
similar to the distillation of flowers and creating perfume and the essence of flavor and aroma. So I got really fascinated by taking this fruit that I've always known as a Pinot or Chardonnay, two different techniques, and really witnessing its transformation in terms of color, in terms of aroma, bouquet, smell, and outcome as a flavor from a grape to a fruit juice to a more mature adolescent wine. And then, of course, thanks to the contact with the barrel, to its, bringing up as an adult and tasting a true wine ready to be bottled. So I think I'm attracted always to the butterfly as an example. This little beautiful birth that is a cocoon, and then
Yeah.
after a few weeks, transforming itself with beautiful wing and gorgeous color and flying on its own into nature. So the idea of transformation is what I love. Same with a canvas, same with jewelry, same with fragrance, same with the art of the table, and same with the art of the month of October, bringing people together, nurturing a conversation, and having between people this amazing moment that we could live thanks to the art of wine.
It is transformative to be around a table and just watch where the conversation goes and friendships happen. But let me ask you, despite all of this and despite your early and continued passion for wine, you did not become a winemaker yourself. And I think everyone who knows you for your unbelievable ability to incorporate sort of lifestyle or to live a wine lifestyle, a very elegant and sensual wine lifestyle. There you are in the red room, which is a perfect example. Where did that come from? I mean, why is wine and lifestyle, why are those two ideas tied together so closely for you?
Yes, well, I started obviously the first 9 years of my life and beyond making wine as such.
Oh, you did.
I did
Okay.
not want to be necessarily, even though I've made wine all my life, pigeonhole as a
Mm.
winemaker. I'm more a curator of experiences
Mm.
and I'm more of a stylist director. In other words, I love to work with our 30 plus winemakers who I call viniculteur, in touch with the grapes and the vine and directing style. So I'm more of a designer using different cloth and fabrics and colors and putting them together. I've had the experience, obviously, to conduct full cuvées, full cru in Burgundy and in Napa Valley, and I love doing it. But I really feel overseeing it excites me more and blending at the
Mm.
end with the winemaking team as such. So that's why I consider myself more of a director of style, as well as continuing the experience. As you make wine, I imagine the world of how we're going to enjoy this wine. This is why the red room fits very well. The beautiful red velvet of this label, Raymond, as well as this incredible generation that represents 5 generations of great winemaking. So, what I'm interested in is really following the process from really A to Z, but really build every step of the way, all the way to the drinking of it, from the vessel,
Mm.
the wine. You could see I designed those glasses with Baccarat. In this case, I was very hands-on because I took the pencil, I took the measurement, I took all the scientific approach of a wine glass and made it from A to Z. Of course, with the scientific lab of Baccarat and the production department on how to blow with the mouth a crystal glass as such and create the energy of those two phenomenal expressions. But I never really wanted just to do one thing. I wanted to be part of all of it. And this is why, yes, I can talk to you about, every part of the winemaking process and certainly even more the vineyard side of it. But I don't want to be cornered in this area.
Yeah.
I believe the whole aspect is much more interesting than one of the parts.
Well, and it's so important. I mean, I think when you watch people at Raymond or Deloche or Buena Vista, they you really bring them into a kind of wine lifestyle that makes sometimes it makes other wineries, I think, feel a little antiseptic, or they just forget that part. They make the wine, but then they stop. And as you're saying, you sort of carry it through in this way that appeals to people's emotions, appeals to their senses. And I'm wondering if you think, you know, we need a little more of that in the wine industry.
Well, it makes me think of, Christian Dior, who welcomed his guest in his beautiful Avenue Montaigne salon when he started in 1947, and I did speak in the 1953, maybe, when he really presented all his fashion among his beautiful furniture, his beautiful, staircase. And Chanel did the same when she was living at the Ritz, and Yves Saint Laurent did the same. And Thierry Mugler suddenly came in with music and fashion show and top models, and exemplified by the scenes of this year Dolce Gabbana in the Vatican representing a fashion show as well, and incredible from the fabric all the way to the storytelling. I think wine is much more, it has the idea of an intention. And it's
Mm.
been carrying on the raison d'être, as we say in good French. Raison d'être means the reason to be, the reason to exist. And the raison d'être means, why do I create this wine? And I'm going to use this Raymond wine, this amazing Cabernet that I had the pleasure to discover only in 2004 in a big way, and '09 when we bought the winery. My intention with Stephanie Putnam as well as all the team was to say, why should we make a Cabernet? And what's the reason to exist? What's the intention of this Cabernet? Same as Chanel said, I want to create the little black dress, or I want to create this beautiful white color, black dress, and a woman to be assertive. Like Yves Saint Laurent decided to create the tuxedo for women as an assertive woman in the 80s in the workplace, and a woman really being able to conduct her own self as she should have. And in that beautiful suit and looking extremely assertive and powerful with the intention of asserting femininity in a greater way. Same with wine. The reason to be of this wine was all what you see behind me: velvet, silk, leather, in a very gracious, harmonious way, a powerful wine in a very silky, velvety environment. That was the intention.
Mm.
So I think behind, Karen, everything we do, we need to make sure that there is a reason to exist, as most of us. You have brought to wine with a wine Bible an exceptional accessibility to wine by promoting millions of copies around the world. And I'm a big promoter of it because I adore you and I adore what you've created, and bringing wine with the intention to everyone to be understood and to be able to be understandable. Same with wine, in this instance with Raymond Vineyards. And I think that's very important. It's about creating a movement of being achievable and being accessible to all. And that's what I love to do. So for me, every winery we have to have this intention. Buena Vista is to bring the history of
Mhm.
California from 1857 to today, and to create today one of the most compelling Napa Valley Cabernet that has been aged 26 months in oak, which is very powerful, very leathery, very historical. Raymond is more velvety. JCB has another intention, which is more incorrigible
Mm.
and very different as well. So everything we do needs to have that intention.
I love it. I think intentionness about wine is a critical part of it, and it can take you back, right to the moment you plant that little plant. You see the wine in your head maybe, and as being a product of a place, a very intimate product of a place. Let me ask you though, if it's no secret to any of us that the wine industry has its challenges right now. So, if you were in charge of the US wine industry, if you could make a few big changes, what would you do?
Well, I would want to make sure that we all continue to be in the wine world for the right reason, which
Mm.
means with passion, with excitement, with love and love of others, with the idea to bring people together around wine at any age and every age. And we've done it many times together, Karen, because you've helped us to write so many of our wonderful experiences here at Raymond and many other wineries, and to bring Napa Valley, as an example, or Sonoma, into something accessible. What makes me very excited always, Raymond, Buena Vista, Elizabeth Spencer, JCB, is to see people just turning 21 and wanting to discover our world and have a good time. So I would like to say, to desacralize a little bit the idea of wine. Wine ought to be on a pedestal like haute couture or haute joaillerie. Yes, in a museum, we want to see $5 million necklace. We want to see the Queen of England beautiful crown. We want to see the most gorgeous ruby, diamond, emerald, and sapphire. No question about it. But we want to provide accessibility to all of it at every stage, at every price, and making sure that we address it around the table in a great and formal way. So, to speak the language of all of us, nothing excites me more when I come and wander at Raymond Vineyards every single weekend when I'm here and I meet a young Indian engineer or a Korean young lady or a person from Japan or Africa who just graduated and said, "Oh, I always wanted to come to Napa Valley, and I love this place because it's fun, it's exciting, we have a good time, we learn, and we meet other people." So, what I believe is fundamental, Karen, is I was very fortunate. You mentioned Burgundy. I saw my mother at the age of 3, 4, and 5 to open our living room into everyone. Everybody who wanted to come, she offered a glass of wine, a piece of cheese, a nice, wonderful warm bread, and sometimes charcuterie. And she said, try our wines. It could be
Mm.
a Gevrey Chambertin, a Nuit Saint Georges. It could be a Chassagne Montrachet. It could be a Pouilly Fussé. It could be a simple Bourgogne Chardonnay. She brought people into the circle of wine in a very nice, informal way and in a very welcoming way. So I think we need to embrace the world as religion at large, embrace the world, whatever religion you want to have or you want to follow, being open minded, provide accessibility
Mm.
to wine, and bring people together. I love it on Thursday and Sunday at Raymond. We have full access to the winery. We do a free tasting of 3 wines. We have so many younger people or older people who've never tried wine that are enjoying beer or spirits and say, it was free of charge. I accepted to come. And I'm so excited about the experience. I'm joining your club or I'm buying a few bottles of wine because I never thought wine would be this. So, Karen, I'll conclude there by saying I love selling wine if it's a bottle of wine at $30 or $15 as much as it is a bottle at $2,000. I have as much fun today doing it as I did 30 years ago. So I feel my advice to the wine world is be in it for the right reason, by
Mm.
loving other people, by wanting to bring what we call ourselves a wine society, a society of people that are excited to be here and to give access to others about the taste of wine. You don't like Cabernet? Try Cabernet. You don't like Merlot? Try Merlot. You've never tried Pinot? Try Pinot Noir. And giving them the opportunity to bring, as I'm doing now, their lips into wine and acquire the taste, similar to fashion, similar to food. Many people I meet as being French are very sometimes intimidated by trying French food. But try a simple croque monsieur, try a crêpe, try a macaron, try a quiche. It's simple, it's enjoyable, it's not daunting, as much as you try in Italy a pizza. And a
Mm.
pizza welcomes you to Italian food or pasta in a very simple, affordable way. So I feel the big mission to Napa Valley, to California, to wine at large is to bring people together. Listen, I just came back from Paris. I had the taste of Fashion Week on Sunday and Monday. I was presenting a few wines, and I'm going to show you the one I'm welcoming you with. I was part of a fashion show on Sunday night that was very cool, and the party was then at Paradis Latin. And I did this, and I savored wine for
I
people,
love to savor.
yeah, who don't necessarily drink wine. And I gave this wine, the JCB Bubbles from Burgundy, Burgundy sparkling wine, méthode traditionnelle to so many. We probably drank 25 cases. It was a big show. You had Gautier there, you had many younger brands as well. And everybody who put their lips on this with a straw, with ice cube in it, had a good time. And I was not a snob saying, oh, you ought to drink it this way. If you fancy it and you like it, be it. So I feel, Karen, we need to be welcoming. We need to be non judgmental. We
Yes.
need to be less. And it's me saying this, making the finest wine in Burgundy, owning some of the most exclusive vineyards in the world. We need to be always open arms. And for me,
Mm.
there's not much more fun when I taste people, often with a magnum of Raymond, and I go around in the tasting room and I give them a taste. And the moment they have a taste and I see their face being transformed, telling me, wow, this is your most expensive wine and you give it to us? And I say, why not? I want you to have a taste. I want you to remember it. Whether you're willing to spend the money for it today, it doesn't matter. I want you one day to think about this moment and come back for it.
Well, it's such a generous industry. Um, even the food industry, which is wine's, of course, closest companion for 8,000 years. But, you can't really, I don't know, drive up to a restaurant, knock on the door and say, can I have a taste of your food? But you actually can. Drive up to a winery, knock on the door, and say, "Can I come in and taste?" It's an industry based on an old value system of generosity, of gratefulness to nature, and generosity to others, and that is so, I think, deeply set in the character of all of us who love wine. And Jean-Charles, you exemplify this in your tasting rooms every day. So I'm not surprised that you walk around with a Magnum and give people tastes. I want to thank you so much for again for being part of Come Over October. I know lots of people at your wineries are taking the message of sharing and togetherness with wine very seriously and turning people on to all kinds of delicious
We are.
experiences.
We are, and you've created Come Over October, nothing better. It's obviously for us as well a cause we defend so much is breast cancer
Thank you.
month. So we have a big promotion as well, where on every rosé we give back to the breast cancer research and
That's great.
societies. We push October as every month, but October even more thanks to you as bring people together. I think nothing is more exciting, and I will repeat this, to see people smile and people becoming friends in a winery. Again, a table is round because ideas circulate clockwise and counterclockwise. You create chaos, you create energy, you create debate, you create conversation. And I believe the goal in conversation is not always to be right, is not always to agree, but at least to flow and learn from one another. And wine at the epicenter of that table allows us to do this. And October is no better month to do it because it's the continuity of harvest. We are
That's right.
now picking up, as you know, all the reds of Napa Valley. We've already completed Sonoma. We finished Burgundy, Beaujolais, Rhone, south of France. We finished Champagne. So we're excited that the completion of October will be marking the end of Napa Valley's harvest. But we have created for that, Karen, Wine Society, which is a very big program across the United States and beyond to bring people in an affordable way to wine. Because I feel we all need to make sure that wine is not always this untouchable, breaking the budget per month of the households. Wine is at every price point. Most of the wines today are extremely good, whatever price there is, and enjoy it in every way you can. You don't need always the special stemware. When I
I
came to
I
California the
agree.
first time, I drank wine in a plastic glass. It did not impede me to love wine when I was 11 years old and to come back for it. So let's bring wine together in every way, shape, or form, and making sure that people taste it, try it, enjoy it, and obviously serve it to their friends.
Cheers to that, Jean-Charles. Thank you so much for joining us and for your love of wine, for your passion, which comes just pouring out. Thank you so much. I hope to share some Raymond with you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karen, so
Thank
much.
you.
And come over October.